Hi guys, my name's Ellie, welcome to my channel. It is the start of September and I want to show you what we're working with for our 1 month 1 palette. Ta-da! If anybody has heard me over the last couple months, you've known that this was my intent to do a 1 month 1 palette with the Clionadh Cosmetics Archeo palette. Ever since I ordered it, it was just a matter of when it got here. So, ooh, that sounds bad. That's too much. Okay, hold it up this way. These are the shades. They're very, very pretty. I have been playing a little bit with the mattes, but kind of trying to leave most of it for this month and this kind of fun play. As you will notice, a lot of the shimmers are mid-tone to light, so I will be bringing in a companion palette as well. So, let's just take a look. I'll say this one, I believe that is Erosion and Monolith. Both came cracked, so I repressed them. They're a little bit different. They're not as flush as the other ones, but I think they've been working quite well, so I don't worry too much about that, just that it will potentially affect how they pan. And I just really want to see a lot of these on the lids. I love Clionadh Cosmetics formula. I'm really excited. But as you saw, those are a little light on the shimmers, and I do tend to like a light or medium blended out into a darker shade, so I'm going to bring in a companion palette. This is the Urban Decay Spectrum palette. It's got a lot of darker shades, so a lot of these like dark, kind of this section, I want to incorporate and use to add a little depth to the look, as well as get some usage on this one, because this is also a nice palette, a bit older, and I'd like to get some usage on this as well. So, let's jump in and see some of the looks I came up with. So I have Artifact on my lid and Sulfur in my inner corner, and it's quite nice. Quick, easy look to start the week. Another super lazy day, but I did sundial all over the lid with Sulfur in the crease again, and again, very, very pretty, very conducive to a pretty but easy, quick look. So, I have to go to work now. So, I used a lot of colors today. I have Nomad, Fragment, and Erosion in the crease with Artifact on the lid and Sulfur on the inner corner. Same mattes on the lower lash line, and it turned out really, really nice. Mixing Nomad and Fragment made a lovely mustard shade that I am into, so we have some fun to play with, because I already want to do fall. I want to do fall colors, I'm ready for it, so this is letting me do that. So today I used Monolith in the crease. I have a dark purple from a different palette, but then I put Glyph on the outer half and Terrain on the inner half, and they make this really nice transition that I am very happy with. I have to go to work now, but I like this. So today I used Nomad, Fragment, and Erosion in the crease. This part just didn't want to blend for me, and underneath, and then I used Sundial into Glyph on my lid with Sulfur in the inner corner, and I feel quite pretty, but I have to go to work now. Okay, so today I used Fragment and Erosion in the crease, which ended up really, really nice, with Terrain on the lid and Sulfur on the inner corner, just a random matte brown in the outer edge, and I really like it. I really like this green. I think it's more versatile than I was expecting, and I like it. So this look is very similar to something I've done before, but I didn't use some of the shades, so I just did Fragment and Erosion in the crease with Artifact on the lid and Sulfur on the inner corner, and it looks quite nice. A little bit more neutral than the one I did with Nomad, which was a little brighter. But yeah, very nice, very fall. So I used Fragment and Erosion in the crease and underneath. I did a little bit of a brown shadow from a different palette to deepen it up. And then I did Artifact into Sundial with Sulfur in the inner corner, and I quite like this look. Feel very pretty. Time to go to work. So today I have Lichen in the crease with a dark purple from a different palette to deepen it up, and I have Neo on the lid with Glyph on the outer corner, and then I smudged Terrain in the inner corner, and I really like it. It might be a little much for work, but it's already on my face, and I gotta go to work now. I don't know if I filmed a similar look to this yet, but I really like it, so I'm going to show it to you. I used Monolith in the crease with a little bit of a brown to deepen it, and then I did Glyph into Sundial into Sulfur, and I feel very, very pretty, and I have to go to work now.
Okay, so it is the 1st of October, and that means we are done with 1 Month 1 palette for September, which I'm both excited for the new palette and sad to put this away for now. This is the Archeo palette. Let's see if there's any... I'm not sure if the usage is very visible for you. It's kind of overcast, but if I don't do it now, I'll forget later. So I'm just going to kind of talk about how the colors looked. Like, you can see a little bit of dips, mainly in Sundial, and maybe a little bit more in, what are my colors? Glyph. I used a decent amount of Fragment. Fragment worked really well. I used Monolith a couple times and really liked it. It just didn't take nearly as much product to build as much as I wanted it to be. I really like this color. It's a very gorgeous color scheme. The only ones that gave me a little bit of trouble, Lichen is very, very cool tone, which is, it's good, and as this type of a gray, I would kind of expect that. But it gets kind of dark very quickly, so that was interesting to work with. And then Dead Sea. It's gorgeous. And I have looks that I would like to do, but I didn't really get... Again, if I did this further down the road as another 1 Month 1 palette, because I'm going to be rotating my palettes again next year, I would really want to dig into this more. I want to play with how this mixes with Nomad, and just kind of in general work on maybe this quad and try some other stuff. I really didn't use Dead Sea more than maybe to deepen up a couple corners. I kind of fell into a habit of using, ooh, you can kind of see, a lot of Sundial, a lot of Artifact, and I played a little bit with like Monolith, with like the green and the blue, so Terrain and Neo, but I had a lot of days this month that I was sleeping in, and so I was just throwing Sulfur on the lid, something in the crease, something really quick, which it's nice that they had these, you know, warm neutral shades that worked really well for that, as well as the shades to be more experimental, to try something a little bit more detailed, a little bit more structured, and I really, really liked it. I kind of think I'll keep it out and play a lot more with Lichen and see how I can incorporate it in ways that I really, really like, because I did like the days I got it. I feel like it just ended up very, very cool toned, which is a little bit more than I would have chosen to wear to work if I'd known that was how the color was going to go that day. But sometimes you're just playing with colors, and that's what happens, and it's on your face, so you have to go to work. And I didn't have any negative comments either. I don't know. I kind of want to try some things with it. I have questions about how much I can shear it out and what I can really combine it with to see if I can make it something that's a little bit more neutral, in like a good way, in like a, if somebody was struggling with this shade, how would I tell them to work it into a more toned down look? And I have questions. But it is the end of the month, and I've started the new palette, and these are amazing. I highly, highly suggest this palette, this formula, this brand to anybody who's looking for something fun. Something very impactful, something that feels special. Because these palettes do feel special. They feel like a gift. They feel like something somebody has put together, cared a lot about, and made for you, and you just have to find the ways that it'll work with you. Because there are a lot more ways that this worked with me than I was expecting. I was a little intimidated by the blue. I wasn't sure how well that was going to work in, which I should have known. I've loved the purples in the outer corners of a bunch of different looks. I don't know why I keep seeing purple and I'm like, what am I going to do with that? The same thing I've been doing with purples all year. I do kind of want to, at some point, do a look with like Lichen in the crease, Dead Sea to deepen it up, and then Glyph all over the lid with maybe like Neo or Artifact in the inner corner. And I did also want to try a halo eye that I have things. So you will be seeing this palette again because it's gorgeous, and with all of the drama across brands, across creators, across the faces of brands, I and a lot of people are leaning more towards indie brands because it's pretty simple to find out what they like. Clionadh Cosmetics likes really, really gorgeous things, and I haven't seen anything that was ever going to give me pause about the company. They're excited about things, they're working hard, they're putting together beautiful products that are unique, that are still usable. Because I know a lot of brighter palettes can be intimidating, can be harder to figure out how you're going to structure looks. Having the warmer tones in this that people are used to, the golds, the reddy brown, that's something someone's used to, and then maybe they'll just pair one new color with it and then go from there. I think this palette has a lot of options, and I really like that they put that much effort into it. As opposed to having one pop, this palette has several pops that can be worked into stuff, can be used to make just a bright look, can be used to accentuate a more neutral look, that you can kind of ease into it how you're comfortable and build your confidence and build your skill set of color theory. And it's awesome. And if you have a concern, if you have a problem, they're right there. They're gonna work with you, and they're gonna try their hardest to make sure it's something they care about fixing for you, because they care about making really good products, and it's very visible. So, I, like always, spent far too much time gushing about Clionadh Cosmetics because I love them, I'm obsessed. I can't wait to see what the next things they come up with are, because currently the plan is to figure out some rules and go on a very low and or no buy next year, and I'm pretty sure Clionadh Cosmetics is going to be one of the brands where I'm like, if they come out with something, I'm allowed to buy it. Don't judge me. Because they don't come up with that many items, and they are so nice. So, I have to go and cook dinner, but this has been a fantastic palette. It's been a great month, and I'm gonna keep it close to me because I want to use it some more. And using this has prompted me to see if I can potentially... I feel like I maybe didn't get as much usage out of the Paleo palette as I could have. I think that is due for another 1 month 1 palette to kind of dig into the color story and feel out favorites. It's like something I learned a long time ago about albums. When I first get an album where I'm listening to singles from a band, I have favorites. I have like 1 or 2 songs that are just my go-to, and then I kind of listen to the album all the way through. I kind of pull different songs out and try them out. And by the time I'm really, really into an album, I know the words, I know the structure, I feel confident that I know this album. My favorites have changed. I will remember the ones that were initially my favorites, the ones I was like, yeah, off the bat, this is a good one, this is one that really works with me. And then the ones that I find myself pulling back, having the urge to pull the album out for, to put into mixes and all that stuff, they're different songs, they're not those initial ones. And I think that's something I'm finding about myself with palettes too. What I'm drawn to in a palette, what I touch immediately, are the things I'm more comfortable with. They're the things that I know I can use in a look. They're the ones that I've bought because I want to use that one color in a look and I know exactly what it's going to be. But like playing with the album, like listening to it and finding things that I might not have done immediately and letting things kind of stew a little bit, I find my favorite colors in the palette. And yeah, off the bat, things I loved. I would not have told you that I was going to love that color that much. Again, I thought Sundial was going to be too dark for my eyes. It is not. This color is so gorgeous. What are you? Terrain. Terrain is stunning on the lid, and especially blended out with this monolith and glyph. Gorgeous. And if I told myself that that was going to be like one of my favorite color combinations throughout the month, I would have laughed at myself because I'm like, what do you mean? You're not that into greens. What are you talking about? But it was gorgeous, and it was stunning, and it was colorful without being scary. Scary's not the word. Abrasive. You know how some colorful looks can be nice, but they are initially a visual shock to see all the parts of it, and then it kind of grows on you. This is one of those ones where it looks nice immediately, and then you started to pick out the colors over time and be like, oh, that's right, there is that there, there is that there. And the only reason I knew all those colors were there and all those parts and components were working that way is because I put the looks together. But I'd see people, have a nice conversation with me at work, talk, whatever, and then kind of like look a little bit more and then like ask a question about my makeup to clarify that they were seeing it right. And then we'd get into a nice conversation about it. And it was awesome. And that was fantastic. I love when my makeup gets a conversation going with somebody, especially when they're excited about makeup too. And Clionadh Cosmetics has been one of the brands where I've gotten the most comments being like, oh my gosh, that's so pretty. Where is it? How can I get it? So, I need to go so that I can cook dinner and I can stop rambling. Thank you guys for tolerating my long-winded, ridiculous, circling narratives, and I appreciate your watches and your comments down below. Let me know if you have things like that, palettes you've pulled out and found out that you thought you were going to like this part and love this other part way more. And about that, tell me some of your favorite indie brands, because those are the kind of things I'm gravitating towards right now, and I'd like to hear some lovely suggestions from you guys. I'll see you guys next time.